So, we are, I guess the word is reconvening the May 14th meeting of the Rutland Planning Board. So number one, we have conducted the site visit. We'll be discussing that later. We have minutes from April 23rd. Our next item.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
The only question I had on these is, John, did the ZBA have any feedback on the comments that you sent them from our previous meeting?
Yeah, they did. They referenced the comments that they got from the planning board, and a lot of the comments they got from the planning board, they said were consistent with comments they got from Quinn Engineering,
Everybody else?
the police department, so.
Okay, so we're on the
everyone
same
seems to
page.
have the same concerns.
But through Tamika, I think the traffic survey or count or whatever you want to call it,
Study,
study,
Yeah, they weren't keen on that.
they were not keen on that.
No, they're not gonna do a traffic study.
It-
Because they said that they can't change the site in a way that they're going to be able to modify the traffic flow. So they're already aware of the traffic there, but they can't fix what's there, essentially is what they said.
And again, I'm not a traffic engineer.
I know.
But if you add an entrance to a facility, that's more traffic coming in and out.
So they're proposing changing the entrance that they have now as just an exit only.
Oh.
And then the other one's going to be an
We haven't seen
entrance
that.
only.
We haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
correct.
Okay.
So they're gonna go back to the drawing board to make some changes, and then they're gonna come back to the ZBA on June 5th.
I saw their surveyor out there today, so.
So Tim, in response to your comment on that.
Yep.
My answer would be not necessarily, because in Rentham, we went through the same thing with the Cumberland Farms that was being proposed, and it's not something that's necessarily gonna draw more traffic in. Just having a new entrance and changing the pattern is simply gonna change the way traffic moves. I don't think it's something where it's gonna increase the traffic's already there.
Yeah, I just thought with two entrances, that would increase traffic, but if they do the study with one in, one out, then I agree. There's no need.
And in reference to Keith's comment about the double drive-through lanes, they would need a bigger site to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason you see those in like.
RDIC, we could sell them.
You see those in McDonald's and Burger Kings because they look for much larger lots to locate on.
Yeah. Yep, good enough, thanks. That's my only question on the minutes.
Anything further on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval not required, approval not required plan, from Brian Rochella, property of 15 Miles Road.
And when you look at that, you say to yourself, what wetlands? How steep is the banking in the front between the road and the lot? Does it go down quite a bit? Because when you do turn off, you'll see there is quite a drop. Is there going to be room enough for a house and to have it able to be worked on? Let's see,
It's roughly 3 to 4 feet there,
drop.
yes.
And
My engineer said he didn't see any problems with putting a little bit of fill in to make the driveway a little bit more level.
How much fill would we be talking about approximately? Do you have an estimate or not at this point?
No,
Norm, if I may, I just wanted to note that Brian has already received his order of conditions through the Conservation Commission for this project.
So this is just creating this one lot?
no.
Two lots.
Two lots, lot 3 and 4, correct?
This used to be
Yeah.
one, and this house just sits in the middle of
That was
what was once a
your
giant.
uncle,
yep,
Henry.
Well,
I
I mean, what I live next to, I can't argue this, cause
know,
I can't argue this point. not saying, this is where, just as my comment about down the road, to really need to get an uplands to
What's the one
wetlands
in-
bylaw in place.
Roughly,
But it isn't there.
50
so-
feet?
about 50 feet.
Yeah. So just looking at this,
So-
wetlands, if you follow that in, it's probably about 150 feet to the edge of the wetlands there. And, I don't know, 75 feet here. And
So
this
if
is
he
quite a
does,
ways
if
back.
this project, gentlemen, does involve the Conservation Commission any more than it already does, he'd have to go, that's their jurisdiction, he'd have to go back
Well,
to,
they've got orders of condition, so it's a
But-
moot point right
Yes.
now.
It's already permitted.
yep.
Is there room enough to put houses in there?
Oh, I would say definitely.
That's not what's under review right now,
Yeah.
unfortunately. That's gonna be-
No, because illusory, what do you call it? Illusory,
Illusory frontage.
illusory frontage.
Where are we talking?
Sean, this
Miles
isn't,
Road.
Sean, this isn't a public hearing.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh, so, I mean,
You're not in public.
that's in the R40 zone, so that's 150.
Yeah.
So that's good, way better than good. It's got the acre. From an A&R standpoint, I don't see, I mean, an A&R standpoint, yeah, the building, it's gonna be up to the building inspector to make sure he's got his sides and all that stuff.
You don't have to fit a house in there, not
Yes.
necessarily just.
It's Rutland, you can fit a house anywhere, trust me.
Okay.
I don't agree with that statement, but. I don't see, from an A&R standpoint, anything that's,
Nope.
I do wanna ask about, so that sewer easement. I'm just looking at it on the small drawing, that's going through there.
That's the one that goes right through the middle of the ball field.
Oh, okay, oh, so the ball field's next to it, I apologize. Okay, thanks. I gotta get my, oh boy. Whoever buys these houses better understand the 4th of July,
Yeah.
cause that is primary parking. And also ball field parking. Oh, that's a good question too. Does this design include the right-of-way areas? Or what am I trying to ask? When they did the layout of this, what's that, where the white line is now on the road that was redone? When they widened the road out? Yeah, basically where the cars park now for the baseball field.
Yeah, they're gonna be
Brian, do you know
lined
if
up in
that
front of
was
house,
taken
yeah.
into account for this? I'm trying to look at the date if this was done, okay, yeah, it is, March 11th, okay, no. I'm looking at the stamp, so he would have had to do that when he did the survey. Yep, okay, question asked and answered. Utility easement. Proposed utility easement, okay.
So this is not being recorded?
I don't
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I don't know why we don't have Zoom or, I don't know if we're being recorded.
What are you doing?
Peter,
I'm on Zoom.
you are.
Thanks, Leah, we just don't have the screen, I guess.
I can see you guys and I can
Objective's not
hear
on.
you.
Okay.
We're green
Oh,
lighted,
that's too bad.
we're green lighted.
Okay.
I don't have any more questions, no.
No,
Motion to endorse, Brian T. and Annie Rushala's, A&R plan.
second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You sign the Mylar and the copy in front of you, the full-size copy.
Press the damn power button.
It's too
A
far.
blowing dash.
Too far. You can reach that better than I can.
Okay.
Oh, you get it?
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to jump
It's gonna
to get
be
that.
that's gonna increase my stipend to $1,000, you know that, right?
Here we go.
PT.
that around.
That'll be interesting what lot 4's address is.
1 Mile Road.
Aha, okay. And then the other one will be a Palmagussit address, correct, on 3?
No, both of them Miles Road,
I just don't have.
Ooh, okay.
1 and 3. I hope they do.
Because it looks like lot 3's on Palmagussit.
Well, it abuts Palmagussit, but the entrance is gonna be on Miles Road.
Yeah, confirm with that.
Okay. Alright. That's a neatest problem. Oh, just sign with pen?
That's just the regular
Oh.
one, so I guess.
When does the public hearing start?
Someday.
Huh?
A little later. We got a couple things to get through first.
Somebody else, does Dick need to sign
Yeah,
this?
Dick should, yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Check that out. Oh. I got this if you need a second one.
Yeah, if you wanna stamp it after you're done.
Oh, there's one on it.
Yeah.
Let me sign this. Good luck from
I
Sam.
remember the sticky note this time.
All right, did I roll this?
And you should have the rubber.
Yeah, we got
Give
something
that right to
for it.
Mr. O'Shalla.
That's what happens when I drink and beer. There we go. Off to the Registry of Deeds. Yeah, giving me a little bit of a fight.
Thank you
Sir?
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does he have to sign a copy?
The copy's already been signed.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Done.
Okay, thank you very much.
okay. Okay, next item, minor home occupation, 72 Barre, Paxton Road.
Keep them.
Pam Schubert.
Norm, could I give a brief background on this before?
Yep.
Talk about this? So, Pam contacted the town, building commissioner, myself, and there's a little bit of drama surrounding this project because it's in the business district. And our bylaws say that normally home occupations are only allowed in the R40 and the R60. However, confirming with town council, because in the business district, it says any use allowed in the business district also, it allows uses in the residential districts. And so, since those are our two residential districts, therefore, any special permitted use is also allowed in the business district. So it was determined that this was allowed to go forward, being in the business district.
The only thing I have with this statement is, if I'm not mistaken, the board can tell if I'm wrong, if you're gonna put a sign up, you still gotta come before us with that. All set? Sorry, I was looking. I put the glasses on, that'll help out. Okay,
It's you two, right? No.
yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm right, that if there's gonna, we've gotta look,
I'm not sure.
typically, we reviewed signs.
Yes.
For home occupations?
We.
No, any sign.
Any sign.
Any sign in the town of Rutland.
We review it, but the building inspector issues the permit.
Correct, we just make,
Let me check into that.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure that's accurate.
I know we've done it in the past, some reason I thought I better bring it up. Okay. No.
I guess, you know, my only comment, I think it appears, that this is definitely a minor home occupation.
Just a one-person operation, correct?
And as such, we don't really have a formal procedure of approval, so to speak. I think this letter that you sent pretty much outlines.
Should just go in the file under
What is
minor home
going
occupancy
on?
and that's it.
I
Yeah,
guess-
I've been opening up files on these just
Yeah.
just for our own record keeping.
I guess the only thing, I don't know, maybe I'm getting really picky, but I'd love to see a signature on it.
Oh, okay. Well, it came in an email, so I could print out the entire email.
Email's considered a legal
Yeah,
document.
so I could always print out her, because this is an attachment, so I could print out the email and the attachment with it.
Put that in the file, cause
Yeah.
that's considered a legal document when
Yeah.
you send an email, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So, like I say, other than the sign.
Do you do cats? Cause I got a cat that needs poop really good.
No cats? Oh.
Yeah, actually, I've got one too.
Yeah. You could just use the dryer on it, I'm good with that too.
That's hazardous duty pay.
Yeah, especially,
Yeah, probably.
good, well, wish you success, that's for sure.
Yes, by all means.
So you don't need anything formal for us, this is just, again, to come before the planning board, just to have them take a look at it, so there's no decision that needs to be filed anywhere. The planning board's taking a look at it and you have their blessing.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing would be if you decide that you were gonna expand, and hire 3 or 4 employees or something of that idea, then you would need to come back before us.
For that's a major home occupancy then, which is a special permit, if
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not mistaken.
I don't plan to.
Well, you never know. You
Yeah.
might just have such a booming business that. So,
Never say never.
Addison said that with his grooming, and then all of a sudden it became a pretty good business with him and
Yes.
Jenny.
Yes.
So, and then it went into a kennel. All right, good.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're all set.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is discussion of amendments
This
to
guy.
subdivision rules and regulations with Mr. Seth Knight, Fire Chief.
No tie, no jacket, I'm reporting this to the.
Alright,
Kidding, don't listen to me.
alright. Thank you for having me here this evening, to discuss this. I submitted this, to John back in February, his review. He sent it off to you guys to look at, and here we are today. Just some background, this document, came from the town of Westminster. It was basically back in 2013, Gary Kelleher and I went through it, and he was satisfied with the terminology and the language on the gravel and everything and the backfilling, and where their DPW would be involved in the future, was happy with it. I actually brought this in front of the planning board several years ago to look at, and there was really, at that time, there was no appetite to move forward with it. I cleaned it up again, I brought it, now that the board's changed a little bit, I'm bringing it back in front of you to look at, to see if we can adopt it and just add it into the subdivision rules and regulations. Currently, the rules and regulations ask for input from town departments. And if a subdivision came in, this is the document I would be handing them. Unfortunately, there's no teeth in it because you may take it and not put it in the order of conditions. So I'm just trying to get a sense that anything that moves forward is a written document. It's clear expectations that anyone can go online and read what the subdivision rules and regulations are and what would be expected of a developer building as far as fire protection.
Norm, can I address that quickly? So Seth, I don't know what's happened in previously, but normally when I draft decisions for the board with subdivisions or any project, there's usually a standard condition that says they have to meet all local conditions of the fire department. So
That's
that
great,
would be
thank you.
a blanket statement that I put in every
Okay.
decision.
This document's also gone to the town of Paxton Planning Board. They made a few minor amendments to it and they've adopted it into their subdivision rules and regulations this year. One of the main things that they changed is they changed currently this is written that if the subdivision is within 500 feet of the existing water main, they will bring the water main into the subdivision. Paxton changed that 500 feet to 3,000 feet. And that was their way to slow growth. They use that to slow growth.
I I like that.
Yeah, so again, that's, something to think about, and that may be a discussion we need to have with DPW, with Chris, to see if, what capacity is and stuff like that, if it ever came to that.
After reading some of the dollar bills in this thing, I went from yes to automatic no.
What I'd like to do,
I wanna see one of these, setups.
Town of Sterling has several cisterns, in town, and so does in Westminster.
Whatever happened to a regular frog pond?
You can, and it's in here as well, and that can be built
Okay.
into the stormwater regulation, that when the stormwater, report is done, they can take the water, run off from everywhere and
put it into
put it into a retention pond that not leaches out,
Okay.
but holds water.
Okay,
Yeah, so that is in here as well,
we basically have a, what's the word I'm looking for?
just a regular fire pond.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's get basically a tarp in it, it doesn't allow it to
Correct.
leach out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would assume that the only time they would put a cistern would be if there was no other.
Correct.
So that's a last ditch effort
Yeah.
to build
Yep,
that.
yes.
What I was gonna say is, I've read through this. I think just to move this thing forward, we should set a hearing date.
It's already been done,
Oh,
the 28th.
okay. I don't need doing it.
He's way ahead of us.
I wanna get this thing in.
Yeah, this was meant as an introductory discussion to have the
Correct,
chief come
yep.
in. I know that when the board got this last month, was very supportive. So Norm asked me to have Seth come in for an informal discussion. Thought it'd be a good idea before the public hearing, which is gonna be 2 weeks from tonight, to officially hopefully adopt this into the subdivision rules and regs.
And this has no impact on any A and R lots or any individual lots
It's
at
on a
all.
subdivision, right?
This has to do with a complete subdivision. Anyone that just has their own lot and they wanted to divide up or do estate lots on their own property, that is not involved in this. Again, so really their options really is if they're close enough to extend the water main and put hydrants in, put a cistern in, develop a fire pond, and that could be an existing water source, it could be, wetland, reclamation, whether you're gonna, a flowing stream, you make a pond in it, through DEP, you can get that done. But there's some engineering factors that are involved with that. The fire pond has to be a certified fire pond in order for us to be able to count it as a fire protection district, for that area. And what that means is, there's some calculations that have to be done. It has to be sized large enough that it will hold enough water, and based on a 50-year drought regulation, they'll go back and 50-year drought, they gotta figure that out. And then they gotta figure out 2 feet of ice on top of it and what water is remaining. And we need a minimum of 30,000 gallons remaining.
That's an engineering.
Correct, that's all engineering, civil engineering.
Civil engineer
Yep.
do all that.
Yeah, they do all that. The 30,000 gallons, whether it's a cistern, needs to be 30,000 gallons, or the fire pond has to be rated a minimum of 30,000 gallons. NFPA and ISO requires us, for a needed fire flow for a single-family residence, is we must maintain 250 gallons per minute for 2 hours. That's the rating we need to achieve, and that's where the 30,000 gallons comes from. So, once that is done, it's certified, civil engineer stamps it, it becomes a certified fire pond location. It counts towards our fire protection district in the town outside the hydrant district, and that helps expand our capacity throughout
It's
the
also gonna
town.
help with
Oh,
insurance too.
Correct, absolutely, yep.
That's a positive for the residents, it helps with insurance.
so how do you, 3.9.5? The developer will provide the town with a perpetuity maintenance fee.
Yep,
So how are you gonna keep going after Clea after,
it could be a bond,
could be a bond, huh?
be a bond. Yep,
I did have a question on that, cause it does say it's part of the acceptance sequence. Eventually, there's something, and I may not have marked further down, but the town may accept a cistern as their own, is that how cause it says perpetual maintenance, but at some point it says, I think I forget where I marked it, but. You know, cause eventually it could be on someone's property, you know,
So-
or how that whole,
Yeah, so basically wherever the fire pond or the cistern is located, there would have to be a right of access easement granted to the town and for us to maintain, in the future years.
Yeah, that's 3.9.9. Within 1 year, the developer will convey any easements regarding the cistern to the town.
Correct.
does that mean you lose perpetual maintenance by adopting?
Once
guess
we,
that's what
I would say, once we take ownership, then it's
It
ours.
is, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
I do wanna ask, did Paxton ask any questions about HOAs and maintenance of like a fire pond or anything like
No.
that? They didn't talk about that?
No.
Cause my intent would be, I'm okay if the town takes that over, but we just gotta make sure that that is not, as part of this, adding this to subdivision regs, that doesn't get tied into an HOA.
It's kinda like, a situation where the town takes possession of the utilities.
Yes.
Water and sewer line.
Yeah, that's all I was trying to get to, is I wanna make sure that's a fact and
Yeah.
there's no
and
skew.
Even if there was an HOA, the HOA is still not gonna be responsible for the water and
Yes.
sewer line once it's turned over.
That's why I wanna make sure this was tied into,
Yeah.
that this is a town piece of property.
Correct, yes. Yep.
So access is needed, you can't just throw fences up and build stuff around it.
Yep.
Access needs to be, available for the town at all times, including fire trucks.
Including kids that ice skate.
Well,
And finally, if they choose not to do the cistern or the fire pond, they have a right to do residential sprinklers.
I love that, I just wanted that as the only one in there.
And on an average home, that's about $10,000. You would have to put a water tank in your basement, but $10,000 on a $600,000 to $700,000 home is not, percentage-wise, is not a big,
On new construction, of
on a
course.
new construction, it's not a thing.
They need a
It's not bad. We discussed this too a long time ago.
Yeah, yep. So,
it's-
again, it's something that the type of homes that may be built may be larger, more expensive homes if we're putting these type of conditions in, because now they gotta recoup the money from the lots, because this is going into the upfront costs. You know, so that could bring home values up, a lot of different things. Or, on the other hand, it can slow growth down, outside the water district too, so.
One thing really caught my eye, 317, 4,000 PSI, 28 strength test, 28-day strength test.
Yeah, on the,
Crap.
on the concrete, I think, yeah.
Yeah, no, 4,000 PSI, that's an awful lot.
Well,
So-
the trucks that are pulling up to the side of this, that would be on that shoulder.
Yeah.
Are, you know, I mean, our tanker weighs 48,000 pounds, not loaded, so, so once you set, you know, driving large vehicles on this and, you know, refilling and stuff like that, so.
I was gonna say, you can't just pull up next to it, you kinda wanna get off the road. so
Yeah, it's like,
access can still
exactly,
get
so
to
you can still have pass-through of vehicles, yep.
Like anything else, time withers everything.
So I know, yep, yep.
And I think the only thing that really kind of hurt me in a little way is that no building permit will be issued until the cistern is installed, tested, and accepted by the fire department. To me, that's, if you could tie it together somehow, fine. but-
Okay, well, we don't allow homes to be occupied with with a CO without the hydrant and water line being working.
Right.
So it's pretty much, it's the same argument.
You gotta it's a
But
utility.
It's a utility, right?
But at least they could be building it, in other words, instead of having one thing get done first before they start to build the house.
Okay, and then you have Arrowhead that's being built, and you have multiple houses being built, and the crossing's not done. You're gonna get into a situation like that, I'll get to it, and it doesn't happen.
Yes, yeah, I think I'm one that, I like all my utilities in before I start building. That's my preference, but I'm not a builder.
Yeah.
I like
I'm
to
supportive of any leverage the town can maintain to make sure that these homes get built.
the proper things are in before these homes start getting built and completed.
Well, and part of that would be too, the subdivision plan should have that all laid out
Correct.
Yep.
before it goes anywhere.
So the question I would have is, for perfect example, when Joanna Drive was built way back in the early nineties,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a section of town, there's no fire protection out there at all. They tried to do a fire pond at the entrance of the Boy Scout camp across the street, never held water, still does not hold water. So we actually have to enter the Boy Scout camp on the left-hand side, break over the stone wall to try to get water from there. That's where we had the fire at Joanna Drive, that's where we had to try to get water from. So there's one area of town, a large development that was built without significant water protection.
Doesn't that have a retention pond on it? Am I
No.
thinking, I thought, which one, okay, maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
There is one, but
It's, when you drive it, isn't it over on the left or the right, a retention pond behind the houses?
That was.
Maybe I'm on the wrong
Maple
street.
Hill.
Okay, I'm
Down
sorry,
off
I'm
of
on the wrong
Maple Ave.
street.
yeah, no, there is one in there somewhere, but I think the guy uses it as part of his lawn.
Yeah, and then there's one on, across the street, what is that, the one that loops around.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking about.
So there's a retention pond way in the, you can't even drive down to get anywhere near it where,
That's right.
you know.
Okay,
back
I
there.
just,
Yeah.
I was thinking that could be something that can be converted, but
Yeah,
that's.
so,
a moot point.
you know, my concern is, that was one big development that was put in the nineties that really has no fire protection. The one off of Palmagussit, Madison Ave,
Yeah,
in that area in there.
all those,
All those in
dead
there.
ends, cul-de-sacs.
There's another area, you know, we have to go to, across the street with Bigelow Pond or river, that's the old closest water, and we'd have to shuttle it back and forth. So, I mean, there's two examples of large areas that were developed.
Putnam, Madison, all those down there.
Yeah, you know, so this, we're just trying to look to the future, that, you know, I don't know if a subdivision that's already in the books came back for major modification, if this would be implemented or not, that would be your decision.
We have that opportunity.
Potentially, I'd have to check with town council on something like that.
Yeah.
Because the other one that's concerning is the one across from the solar field that goes up off of,
Pleasantdale?
Pleasantdale up to the backside of.
We don't
Bedrock.
even have, no, you don't need to worry about that, cause that's never had a formal subdivision submitted to us, it was just preliminary.
Oh, even better.
So you don't need to,
That's starting from ground zero.
So
yeah, that's all from ground zero
if
says, so
the
you don't.
board, if the board would like, I can check with town council on that issue before the public hearing in 2 weeks to see if this would, if a subdivision came back for a major modification, would this be applicable? I'm not sure of the answer.
We should at least have the answer if
Yeah.
that's asked, so.
Yep.
Could a,
In the hearing too.
Yeah, cause typically with major
Zone A.
modifications, you gotta open a new hearing up and.
are you allowed to do anything in a zone A district?
So before Bree left, the conservation agent that we
Yeah.
had, I met with her, she brought in a woman from the DEP. And we actually started discussing fire pond reclamation of the existing fire ponds we had in town in the process. There's some exceptions, that allow for fire protection, but it's gotta be done in a certain fashion with, obviously the notice of intent filed, all that stuff. So there is a way to do it. I can't tell you what it would cost to do it. But as a town, we have 8 or 9 currently existing in town that need some work to be done. Because you have normal siltage and, you know, leaves and everything that just settle in it, that take away the,
I mean, Dick,
volume, so.
just think off Ridge Road where those A and Rs are with 13 or 14 houses potentially going in.
Yeah.
There's no water down there.
No, no, it's back at his place.
I know, that's a little bit of a way to run some
Yeah,
hose.
oh yeah. Yep,
So I'm just, that standpoint, I mean, that little bit gives me a pause.
Yeah.
But they're A and R, so they wouldn't fall under that,
No, they wouldn't,
so,
fortunately.
yep. All right, good.
So
The
tell
only-
DEP to get going and put
Yep.
something in there for A&Rs.
Only question I got, Seth, if any of these ASTME or NFPAs, how do we adjust that? Is that something that you'd have to come back to us as a modification to the subdivision?
I don't know, or you could put you put provision in there of that, any current update or
That's what I was
any
thinking,
type of language like that, or,
because things change, the codes change, 3 to 5 years, there's a
yeah,
code
I think
change.
John and I could work on some language for that.
Yeah, I mean.
I just
you
wanna
could
get that
put a-
in there,
You could
'cause-
put some general
I agree.
language of,
Yeah.
subject to the most recent.
Yes.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Codes, yeah, that's all I wanna do is,
Yeah,
cause
absolutely.
codes change,
That's
and I
easy.
don't wanna get caught 10 years down the road,
Yep.
like, well,
Good with
so is this.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm
We
covered
do it all the
under-
time with
because I
zoning
did it a
bylaw
long time
amendments
ago, so I'm
referencing the
covered.
zoning
No,
map,
you're
the most
not.
recently approved zoning map, that
Right.
way.
Yep.
It keeps up with
Mark
every
this up
change.
for the hearing too, cause under registered engineer, I wanna put mass registered engineer.
Good idea.
So the good thing is about this, gentlemen, any changes to subdivision rules and regs do not have to go to town meeting.
No, it's just a
It's just
hearing.
approved by the board at a public hearing, and then it can be incorporated into the subdivision rules and regs immediately.
You said
Put
May
right on the
28th
website.
is the hearing, so.
Yes.
Perfect, thanks.
Yep, the ad's already gone to the papers, so it's all set for then, so, I think this is good to have this discussion in preparation for that hearing, so it'll go smoothly.
Excellent.
Fire department doesn't dig its own fire ponds, does it?
No.
Rats. I got a nice place for one.
Couple typos in there that you tell them before you
Yeah.
get there.
Well, we now have water on your street, so we have a hydrant on your street now.
Yeah, but not for a good part of it.
Yeah, I know.
This one just kinda drops off. Like, or.
Something to think about in the future, if they try to find another water source in town.
Right.
Track of what they're
And have to
doing.
pump it from point A to point Z, I mean,
Yep.
or if they're on the way trying to pump it to the
Another one down here.
plant to get it
Treated.
treated.
Yep,
Why can't you still have fire
you
hydrants?
can, yep.
If you have
Yep.
a way
Just
to
make them a different color so they're not
scan
potable water.
Yeah,
I would scan.
Exactly.
Them to
Give them
him,
a job.
these comments, cause you've done it.
because it would be very
Outstanding
nice
job.
if,
Yeah, put in comments.
perhaps
so
the
I would
TA
do
and the
it.
select
Seth
board
dismissed?
would,
No, he's got.
think very seriously of taking back Long Pond,
John,
because it's spring fed.
Keith's done an outstanding job of putting comments there. I told him to scan them in and get them to you. Of comments on this.
Sure.
Yeah, before.
Yeah, get them to
maybe
me
it's
as soon as
official.
possible, cause we
Yeah.
wanna,
Yep, clean, make sure it's cleaned up.
yep,
Yep.
Okay,
excellent. Thank you.
thank you for your time.
Okay, very good.
I guess real quick.
Sure,
Is
go.
this version off, obviously you said Paxton came in and edited this
Yeah.
on their own,
Yep,
but you were still satisfied with what you had? You don't wanna add any, obviously, I think the only thing you said was the footage.
that's.
That was on them, right?
Yes, that was on, that was the
They,
decision they
they
made.
stuck with the document as a
Yes.
whole,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, now we're to number 5.
Now it's gonna have another 10 pages for our subdivision regulations. Good.
If I could just get it.
Okay, we are now back to the continued, public hearing on the petition of Scott Latour, owner of Philip Raptis for special permit, for a motorcycle repair business and associated site improvements at 191 Barre Paxton Road. And, I guess.
Well, I'm here for that reason exactly. Unfortunately, Scott will not be able to attend today. I just spoke with him about 5:30 and he had a blowout in East Boston. So he's probably not gonna make it today. And you guys did say something about, for the continuance to be here about this permit. I was hoping maybe last time you guys didn't have any paperwork from John as far as the whole thing, so I was hoping maybe you guys had, you have
We have some renderings.
Yep.
Yeah.
some renderings of what's happening.
Of the building.
And I believe last week you said something about maybe, going to the property.
We did a site walk today.
Oh, you did one?
Yes.
Oh, I was under the impression that we were coming to here and then stopping the meeting and then going there.
No, it was.
Bill, is that Scott on Zoom right now?
No, that's our TA,
Scott?
in disguise.
Oh.
I don't know.
Is that Scott?
That looks like the camera's in this room.
No, but below it, it says Scott.
Says Scott.
Underneath it.
Those
We're
are,
just trying to confirm
there
if
are
it's him.
blocks.
Yeah, there's 4 blocks up there.
Zoomers.
Leah,
Scott, are you with us?
I wouldn't know if we had, no. We know
Yeah,
how
if
to
they
do
don't
Zoom
put,
anyway.
if they don't put the last name, you don't know.
So you did a site walk?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you kind of put the renderings with the actual property?
The renderings for the building,
Yep, you see them.
I mean, I'm okay with what's here. I mean, this is fine for the bike repair shop. I mean, that's my opinion.
You said-
The back portion, the repair facility,
The inspection,
yeah,
the inspection station he wants to add.
yeah, I thought it was,
Down the road
I
or
thought it was a
something.
maintenance building.
I think it was both.
No, he's
It was a
doing one
repair
big-
and inspection.
Oh, it was, I
Repair and
apologize.
inspection, yes.
I don't have anything on that, and I don't know what it's gonna look
Well,
like.
that's the thing, we have no building elevations on that building at all to know what it's gonna look like as far as the scale. Again, these renderings are great, but they're just the existing building and the computer renderings, they're not building elevation plans.
I feel like he said he was gonna withdraw that till a later date or something like that.
Well, I believe you guys mentioned that would require another special permit or something?
No, the big thing.
We were trying to put both of them together into one permit,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
think
no,
that was
well, no,
original.
no. The discussion was whether or not that additional building fit into the village center district in terms of neighborhood scale. That was what the discussion centered around.
yeah.
Neighborhood scale, that's the first time, I don't understand what that
Oh,
is.
that's right, it's right in the zoning bylaws.
Let me ask a question. What is I guess I need from a planning board perspective, explain to me what he or the project wants to do. That's where I'm getting lost in translation. What does
this
he
building-
just wanna do this building? Does he wanna do this building and the one behind it, or what is the
I
goal?
believe he wants to use this building here, but he also wants to add another building for more mechanic work and inspection, where they can just drive in, inspect, and drive out.
And again, this is just me talking, I'll let the board say, I'm okay with the first part of the request, or
Using the existing building for
Yes.
motorcycle repair and
Yes.
inspection?
the second portion, I got no details on what other than that drawing showing an overview, I don't have a detail of building.
You had it up on the thing last time, where it showed the building where it would be.
No,
Yeah.
that's the site plan, but
Yeah, I'm
we also
looking-
require building elevation plans that show the
Yeah.
side of the building and the
It's more of a
details of what the
detail of
building's
what the
gonna look
building's
like.
gonna be, the pad, entrance and exits, typically,
How the runoff.
yeah. Just,
There's no rendering in there?
No, nothing.
As far as the extra building?
no, that was the struggle right now. All we've got is the 5 renderings that I have is just the building, the backs, the sides, the front. And I think it's great. I mean, I love this. I mean, I know it doesn't have elevations, but it gives me what it is gonna look like at least. It's basically the building. Only thing I think we're adding is that wasn't there, is some parking. And it looks like the asphalt that was in horrendous shape is gonna be repaired and updated for, and then this ramp on the side facing Paxton was gonna be added, cause it wasn't there. There was a ramp on the other side, but there wasn't, which is this ramp, but this larger ramp, it looks like that's gonna be added. I didn't see that there.
Oh, yeah, right.
gonna be a
Because there's
new-
gonna be a new door there.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
On the same side where the ramp is already,
Yeah.
right? So it'll be extended. So they
So-
can roll bikes up in there.
I guess what I was trying to say is from the application, that's what I was looking for. The portion that has this building on, from the board's perspective, I'm somewhat comfortable with, but anything beyond that, I don't feel that, A, we have enough information, and B, there's the stormwater management plan. And the site walk, that was,
Site conditions.
site conditions, yeah, thank you. When we did the site walk, the conditions were, I'm gonna use the word interesting, of where that building was gonna go, cause I couldn't figure out how it was gonna get
Or he's got
in.
probably some stuff there in the way, that's temporarily there.
Sewer manholes was my big concern. They were right on top of where the building was gonna go. There's 2 sewer manholes there.
There's a sewer system in
That's
the
further on,
back
that's further
also.
to the right-hand side, so this would be more on the left-hand side.
From 6. Oh, okay.
Well, the board had multiple issues with
Oh,
the
there was
site
more,
conditions.
Yeah.
It was the storage of trailers we did, and by the way, we did have several abutters from the condominium show up and express concern, not just with the proposed project, but with the activity that's going on currently at the site. Trailers.
Where did they
No,
show?
so-
Sorry.
Please,
sidewalk.
please,
Oh, at the
Sidewalk,
sidewalk?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
we had neighbors telling us, and they're gonna provide documentation, audio, pictures of, they're claiming that tractor trailers are coming in out of there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's not neighborhood scale business as it is. There's a lot of fill that's been added back there that we're not sure if the Conservation Commission is aware of. There's an abandoned oil truck back there. There's asphalt that's been used as fill back there, which is considered hazardous materials. There's a serious lack of vegetation between this property and the condominiums. The entire site slopes towards the condominiums, so there's drainage issues that could be a factor. So there are a lot of hurdles to overcome before I believe the board's gonna be comfortable with this project in any scope, let alone the new building.
This one here, I'm not that concerned as much as.
Well, the build, this one building itself, but the
Yes.
site is an entirely different story. That's the big sticking point for me anyway.
Let me ask,
The rest of the site.
How
putting
was
literally-
it presented to us? The whole site?
well, initially, Johnny, tell me if I'm wrong, initially, the application was just for this
Well,
building.
no, the application, he owns the whole site.
Yeah,
This
no.
application is for the whole site. No matter what he's doing, whether it's in the existing building or new building, this is site plan review, means access, egress, landscaping, drainage, lighting, the whole 9 yards.
9 yards then, okay.
Okay,
It wasn't just for this.
In other words, they could fix up the get approved to fix up the existing building and do a motorcycle repair shop, and that's great. It doesn't eliminate the issues on the entire site and the issues that's causing potentially for the adjacent property,
yeah.
regardless of if there's new building that goes up or not.
Let me ask if they change their application to pull that maintenance building out, is there still a requirement because of stormwater management that there have to be done for this site?
Well, here's the
I
thing.
don't know.
First of all, that's a board decision.
Okay,
It is a requirement of our application that they haven't provided, but the board would have to waive that.
okay,
And with the size of the site, and we discussed it on the site visit, it's a big site. And if the board wants to see that pavement
yeah.
fixed, that's gonna drastically change the runoff and the drainage on that site.
yeah.
And this is a corridor that the board has talked about wanting to clean up badly because it is village center and you want things to
Oh, I agree.
operate and look much better out there.
I think you got prime real estate for sure, for something nice going on over there. I guess it's a question of like, what are you open to improving and how far can we get it to look pretty snazzy over there, you know?
As far as landscaping, I'm sure there's no problem at all.
Yeah.
Is it normal procedure to do a walkthrough without the owner?
Well, we
Well,
gave
this was mentioned at the last
Yeah,
public
we were
hearing that they were
surprised
doing a
you
site
weren't there.
visit.
And that's what I'm saying. It was mentioned that we'd come to this meeting and then we would stop the meeting and go to the.
No,
We could do
Never done
another
that.
sidewalk.
I'm sure that's on
with you.
record somewhere.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
They would discuss, they would do it at 6 o'clock before the meeting, then
Yeah,
adjourn and come back
sorry,
here.
We started it at
unfortunately,
6
yeah.
o'clock, which is before our regular meeting.
Yeah,
Yep. So, and also you gotta remember, this is a special permit. This is not a by right use. This is a special permit, which means the bar is set at a certain point that the applicant has to get to.
yeah.
You know, and I think if we have a list of things, it would be just a question of
Well, it just
what
seems
you
like
wanna work on and what you'd be willing to do, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, from the very beginning, you know, we were greeted with, this is a great idea for Village Center, it's gonna be awesome, it's gonna be this, you know, and it should be no problem. And, you know, we wanted to do everything by the book, which I understand how the town works, and, you know, I'm not gonna go against the rules. You know, we've seen over the years that people just open stuff and do stuff and then deal with you guys later.
Yeah,
So we've been, you know, straight from the very beginning, let's go on the line, but now the list is getting longer and longer. And this, you know, this started in October and it's now May.
Well,
You know,
there's,
you know,
reasons
he's
for
now out of business
yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
losing every single day because the list is growing. When it, like I said, at first was like, oh,
Yeah, I know.
quick, we're gonna do it and it's gonna be great.
I might be speaking out of turn, but the application really wasn't what we've
Yeah,
seen before.
No doubt, I'm sure that took a little longer than it should have.
So I don't wanna put this on the board, because honestly, the board gets presented with an application through John, that gets presented to John, he brings
and
it to the
Tim, can I
board.
respond to that quickly?
Yeah,
Honestly, there was so much effort put in just to get to the application where it was, that honestly, if I had to go back and do it over again, I might not have forwarded this to the board.
okay,
I did it to try and get it before the board to get this in front of the public.
okay.
But it was an effort just to get the elements of this application that we have now, with no stormwater report at all, with no building elevation plans. Both are listed as requirements in our site plan regulations from 2011,
Yeah,
But those only.
and they're on the
came-
website.
Those only came up last meeting,
They're on the website.
in which you did both, you all did not have any paperwork or renderings of any application of this application. So we were like, you know, in the dark as far as what's happening.
I'm gonna stop you right there. That's not true. That's not true at all. Everything is on the website. We totally redid the website when I first started. Everything is there.
well,
I guess if we can get you more information on what, I mean, we did talk a little bit about.
If you want, I could work on a comprehensive letter of the things that need to be addressed there. And it's gonna include the Board of Health because of the hazardous materials that are out there.
Yeah, it might be I mean, I don't know if everyone wants to say this. Apologize, you weren't at the site walk.
What's the hazardous materials that are out there?
I
well,
guess the
you can't.
trucks and stuff, yeah.
Well, I'm not, but
Yeah.
you can't use, again, I'm speaking out of turn, because this will be the Board of Health and the Concom's really their thing, but my minimum knowledge is you can't use asphalt as fill. It's got oil in it, it's got hazardous waste in it.
I don't know where that is.
It's in the back, where it looks like a front loader or dozer pushed it out to make room for the tractor trailers to come in.
May have just pulled whatever out.
Let's see if I got a picture.
If there's anything that's filled, it'd be by the driveways, which would be the millings from the asphalt millings to fill in the holes
Yeah.
from the entryways.
Let me see, did I take?
But anything else that was filled, it was filled with rock and gravel. And then if there's a top coat of asphalt, that
Maybe
seems,
concrete blocks, I don't know really what's over there.
Again, that's really
There's
not
wood
our,
back there. There's
Scrap
crushed up
lumber.
asphalt on that hill back there.
that's what I'm getting at, yeah.
There's an abandoned oil truck back there, so I just don't understand this lack of recognition of what's actually on the site now, being the property owner. That's really flabbergasting me right now, and this is the frustration I've had from the beginning, is the lack of forthcomingness and the frustration in trying to actually make progress and get information.
Yeah,
I mean, it needs some work, I'm sure you haven't, I know there hasn't been a business really there in a long time, so
Right.
it's kinda where
and
do
that's what I'm
we
saying, we're trying to, you know,
get going on
get going
something, yeah.
and we're nothing but roadblocks.
Yeah, we don't, they may feel like roadblocks, but
Which was
they're,
funny because
they're
it actually used to be called the Rutland Roadblock. The building, I think I have a sign somewhere that still has that.
I apologize, because if I had to do over again, this would not have come before the board. I would have waited for everything to be submitted, and I will not make that mistake again.
I mean, our demands probably, if, I don't even know what our list will be, I mean, it's just to make the place look good. You know, it may
Right.
seem like, well, what's good, but I think.
Right, but we can't get started, we're just trying to get started.
I guess legally, I think the thing is if we just sign off.
Yeah,
I don't mean
that's
to say anything, but I bet
This is a site
a
plan.
lot can happen. Yeah, just
This is
because
an
we
entire
approve.
site.
Yeah, just because if we approve the business, we really, you get granted a lot more without us having some detail in there already. So if we present a list to you, it's up to you to say, okay, yeah, I'm cool, I'll do that, I'll get rid of that, and you have to kind of get it done up to us.
As far as lighting and signs and all the, like, the
later things are
cosmetics
different.
of, the cosmetics of it all?
Yeah, I think
So
it's,
as far as we don't, for instance, we don't know if there's soil contamination out there. Because there's an abandoned oil truck out there. That could have leaked and there could be soil contamination out there right now. We don't have a stormwater report, that's a requirement that's in our regulations. And the whole area slopes down to the condominiums, and there's no buffer.
Right.
So, you know,
the
this whole
buffer.
in the dark thing, not true.
Well, I'm saying the last meeting, you guys didn't have anything.
yeah, we didn't even go.
Well, because we really,
We're there
because the
now.
renderings aren't building elevation plans, Phil. I mean,
Well, you weren't here, it's also, that's fine.
I was remote, because I had jury duty.
So your land slopes off and what's right below it is the septic system for the
Correct.
condos, so,
It's also the septic system for the building.
yeah, so therefore, that's, you know, you gotta make sure that any runoff is gonna be, you know, well, not necessarily contained, but not get involved there to be put away someplace else.
Correct.
And that could be tied in with your stormwater management, because you don't know what's gonna
Again,
wash down there and
we
all that.
discussed last couple weeks ago that
Right,
right across the street from the same condominiums was Mal's Automotive.
yeah,
And right down the street was also Carcraft Automotive.
yep,
So there's been automotive places
And, but
all
again.
around here.
But again, when a new project comes in, those are pre-existing businesses that the board can do nothing about.
right.
Has no jurisdiction over.
Yep.
This is a special permit, and this is the board's chance to make sure that anything that's deficient on that property, anything that's hazardous, that's a liability for the town. If the planning board approves a project and allows those things to remain on that site, then the town is liable.
Right.
So if there is contamination, if all of a sudden the board approves this project and stormwater runs off onto the condos even more than it does now, the town is liable for that.
Yeah, it's tough having a site that's got a lot to get up to a certain standard, and because it's a new permit, it's sort of, we look at it like from scratch. And that's, I think, why it seems like there's a lot, because
Right.
it's an opportunity to kind of get, and if we can work with you, you know, we can get the site looking good, you know.
Right. That's the common goal, I get it.
I think
It will take longer than probably today, of course, though.
I think through the chair, we should have John get that, if you wanna call it bullet points, put together and get it to Scott and Phil and have them look at it and then have that discussion, because we're just going back and forth tonight, and we need to get you something in your hand to see all of our points that we came up with, cause we just did a site walk, we didn't put together a plan in 30 minutes. We just took a view, we made some notes, took some pictures. We really need to get an official document put together and sent to you guys. That's my opinion. I don't know what the rest of the board is, but
I'm just wondering, is there something that we can leave him with right now that we know we absolutely have to have?
Well, first of all, we need to know whether or not the board supports that additional building. Because if not, then they have to amend their site plans to take that building away. If it does support that building, then we need building elevation plans to show what that building's gonna look like, because we don't have those. Secondly,
Does it fall
is the board gonna waive the stormwater report or not?
that's not gonna happen on my watch.
Then we need a stormwater report that Quinn Engineering can review.
Yes. I don't know what the board's opinion, but mine is no way. You guys can vote if it's okay, but I will. Me personally, I want a stormwater report.
Oh, absolutely, I think so, yes.
Yeah.
That's something they also can do, is start working on, and of the condos, of trying to block it off, or.
Well, no, don't start any physical work, but that will be in the letter. I mean, as far as, we still don't have, but we still don't
But you've
have
gotta
basic.
start someplace with
Dick,
a
we
piece
don't
of
have
paper.
basic, Dick, we don't even have basic things yet.
Yeah.
We don't have a stormwater
Their
report.
problem.
Because if we get the stormwater report and the results come back badly, that's gonna be additional things that they're gonna have to do.
I mean, to walk away, I'm not endorsing anything with this statement, but I am comfortable with some site work that the front building could be worked out with the board. The rear building, I gotta tell you, on a percentage, I'm at about 5 or 10% of that going anywhere at this point. Without the detailed documentation, I have no warm fuzzy for that maintenance building.
Well,
You lower percentage than me?
like I say, it's the, is it even an appropriate use for the village center district?
Yep.
Something that industrial.
I just wanted to, something to take away that I.
Versus a simple automotive in a building,
Yeah.
existing building, yeah.
So, that's kind of my thoughts,
Okay.
so. Well, then I guess, we just kind of wait, you can get that drafted and get us.
But I think
very
what-
soon.
Need to ask, and maybe I'm
First of
being
all,
that's what I want to get at.
hold on a sec, it sounds like the board is not supportive of that additional building, is that accurate?
I am right now I don't have enough information to even make a what you
Well,
can
I'm
do
trying-
decision.
I'm trying to make it so
I see what you're
he
saying.
doesn't spend time and money on a building elevation plan that the board does not support.
Well, that's two different bullet point lists, right? We need a bullet point list of things we need for the additional building, and now you're saying we need more additional points for the current buildings.
No, the site.
Just
The-
site.
Oh,
There's
site.
gonna be a lot of bullet points regardless of the new building or not, because that site is a mess. And the stormwater report's gonna be required no matter what.
I guess I'm not a fan of that building, bottom line, cause I think a large maintenance building there for large vehicles, cats, but again, without any information in front of me, I really can't, I don't wanna say no, but that's why I say it's 5 or 10% of approving it, because I don't have anything in front of me.
I guess the question is then, gentlemen, is a new 40 by 60 foot building that can inspect and repair large trucks, tractor trailers in some instances, fit into neighborhood scale for the village center, for the village district? As a concept, not even physically,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
the use.
That to me is the question,
Especially when they brought up hydraulics.
yeah, so, well,
Being in hydraulics for 30-something years, for crying out loud, I know.
yeah, you have been.
Yes.
Definitely.
Still on, aren't you?
So,
I sold it.
Sean, please.
I guess we probably should ask if we got any public comments, cause.
yeah, well, I'm getting
Okay.
to it, I've had people with their hands up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like Scott verbally rescinded the building, but since it is on paper, it's legally part of it, so he's gotta really, I think we did say you gotta resubmit paperwork that just doesn't show a building.
No, he just has to amend the plans.
Amend the.
It's a special permit no matter what.
Yeah, if we're already discussing this, I think it's just,
Was there anything
we gotta
else?
see it not there too.
Was there anything
To
else
be
missing
legal
on
to
those
just
plans?
talk about the building in front.
I don't believe so, although
what I-
we never got
what I
the
believe.
we never got topographic plans.
That's what I was thinking of,
We just got a site plan basically with a building on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Wouldn't topographical,
No, I
That'd
think
be
it was just
appropriate.
open.
Yeah.
wouldn't that be appropriate?
Yeah, surveyed, yeah, yep.
To
Just
know
a slope.
what the grade of
I
the
mean,
site
should
is.
the board, tell Scott that at this point, we don't have a good feeling about that building fitting into the area that it's in? And please consider that, and if you're gonna move forward with it or not?
I think that's,
Unless he comes with better renderings of that building for you guys to have a quicker eye on and.
Partially, but it's the use.
Yeah.
It's the use. It's not just the physical building.
it's multiple,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, can you clarify something for me about the village center? Dichotomy of that center of town, like, is that, it's supposed to be mixed use as far as commercial and residential?
It can be.
Yeah.
Yes, commercial and residential, but not industrial,
Sorry?
not industrial,
Not industrial, so a mechanic is industrial?
so.
Well,
But we have malls within hundreds of yards.
It's the type of equipment that
Yeah, I was gonna say,
leads you
It's the
to
scale.
industrial.
Talking about, an automobile. or
Malls is
pickup
not
truck.
industrial we're talking about?
I mean, what does he do there besides cars?
I don't know, I think.
So I mean, I guess they're just saying, well, at some point, if.
Compact cars as opposed to 18-wheelers.
Yeah, there is a difference.
Yeah, axle size.
Absolutely, there's a difference.
Probably, you
Or
know.
motorcycles in this case, which
Yeah,
is
smaller
under cars.
Yeah, quick, like, I mean, you can be a mechanic and fix everything essentially once you learn it, so I understand.
Hydraulics and all,
I
correct?
understand he's good at probably turning over any repair, you know?
Right.
I guess it comes down to
It
whether.
comes down to commercial licensing versus passenger and truck, when I say truck,
Like truck or
F-150s, you know, things like that, and motorcycles.
Versus a 10-wheeler.
As opposed to a 10-wheeler or a cat front loader or a dozer or something along those lines, or even a semi-truck. When I say semi, I meant the International Harvester, oh, it's Navistar now, sorry, I'm dating myself.
Okay, before we go any further, you had your hand up a while ago.
Yes.
Before you say that, we need name and address.
Stephen Picaro, 211 Barre Paxton Road, that's Fox Run. We're in Unit 4.
Yeah.
We're only residents there, we don't represent the community. However, two of our biggest concerns of what was already brought up is the water runoff from there, which is already a problem. We live on the opposite side. We live on the west side. And from the east side residents there, it's always been a problem of water there, and tremendous water.
Yeah, we understood that from some people.
Yeah,
during sidewalk.
Right, number one. Number two, nobody's mentioned it, and maybe it's not part of the board, but what about the noise level? Is there anything in the law, in the bylaws? That
Don't have a
accommodate
noise bylaw, if I'm not mistaken, in Rutland.
However.
Can we make
I
one?
asked for
on a-
Maryland to come
on a-
back.
On a special permit, we can put conditions, like hours of
hours,
operation
yes.
and that sort of thing.
Well, what about noise level? Cause I mean, motorcycles are not quiet.
It's very.
Certainly not truck
Probably
trailers.
nuanced, if
Yeah,
anything,
that would be harder to do.
you know?
I'm not saying impossible.
Yeah.
Okay, but that would be harder to do, I think.
Unless the operations of hours was 7 to midnight, you know what I mean, in the middle of the
Yeah,
night,
it
you
depends on
know.
when you're bothered by the noise, but yeah, after 5, I'm sure these
Right.
guys aren't looking to, I think Scott mentioned that, he
did mention the
talk
times.
about his hours.
Yep,
You know, if you're home at the time when they're operating, I guess you could hear some things that might go on there, you know.
And I know it was the young kids too that were in that thing were,
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them.
I think the state requirement for the quiet hour is 10 PM. And some of I think you mentioned that the residents over at Fox Run said 2 in the morning, the tractor trailers were running. That's after the
Might be-
quiet hour, you know? So that would be.
You know, if they're separate to really what you're doing, whoever's running the trailer thing, you might wanna give them a heads up, they're running at, someone knows they're doing it at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, they're tractor trailer drivers, they don't care.
Yeah, well, he can tell them what to do, he owns the
did you say
place.
something about names? You have to say the names, who's speaking?
Sean McLaughlin, 175 Barre Paxton Road.
Okay, thank you.
Tanika's got that, okay, great.
Yes.
One other thing, I don't know if it's a I'm not familiar with the bylaws and so forth, but some kind of barrier, fence between Fox Run and this facility would be ideal.
That was even brought up at a sidewalk.
It was,
Yeah.
okay.
So, Mr. Picaro, we spoke on the phone
Yeah,
recently, nice to meet you. We're trying to take this project one step at a time
Right,
because
right.
we've got more significant issues to address, such as the stormwater and the drainage and the runoff and the existing.
Well, I only brought that up because I thought
Yeah,
of it.
and that's something that's on the list, believe me, that's on the list, cause there's no real vegetation between the two properties at that corner.
And we've done that with other facilities where they put up large arborvitaes and stuff like
Yeah,
that, basically, to block the view and
The
help
view
with the
and a
noise
little
level.
bit of the sound.
Yeah, I mean, that's landscaping,
Yeah.
it can be done.
and that's
I
why
think
I
we got
say,
bigger fish to fry right now.
they could do it on their own.
Well, well, they can't do that on their own, well, they could in the existing site, but.
They own the property.
But Dick, we're having a public hearing right now.
I know, but
That they actually can't go out and just start doing that because we have a special permit in front of
sure
us.
they can, of course they can. They own the property. And if they wanted to help their neighbor and be nice about it, for God's sakes, let them do it.
And if-
They know, it's only, what is it gonna take? 10, 12 feet or something like that, for
Dick,
Christ's
that's
sakes?
why we could look at it, if we're gonna have that as a condition of approval, it's gotta be specific. It may not just be a fence, it may be a fence and vegetation, that's what I'm saying. Can't tell them, just go start doing it, we need to,
could do a,
to go through the process.
They can talk to them.
To be a successful business anywhere, you're not gonna have your establishment look awful,
Yeah.
right? But the fact of the matter is, he's not in there, and so
How-
he
well, how
doesn't have a
come-
business.
Well, Phil, you're the property owner, how come it looks awful?
It does, it looked a lot worse, I've been slowly trying to fix it up, and I got it sided and everything else, but
The young lady wants to.
I'm trying to get somebody in there to help
I'm trying to find a time when someone isn't.
make it look buttoned up,
yep.
make it look real nice. That's what we're trying to do here.
Okay,
Yep.
yes,
Hi, Maria Porcaro, 211 Barre, Paxton Road, Fox Run. I'm not an expert on anything, but I have some concerns about the fuel disposal. How do you get, like, if they're draining fuel, where does it go? What's containing it? Cause that's a safety hazard. And motorcycles give off
Yeah,
a lot of nitrous and nitrogen oxides, and they're high in carbons. I can't speak, I'm nervous. But,
the fire department, hazardous materials, they deal with that.
okay,
So if this project goes forward, they would have to meet fire department requirements for disposal, storage of
Right.
hazardous materials.
And fumes.
Fumes,
Fumes, I don't think, unless it's closed in, but they're not gonna run engines in the house, in that building.
Yeah.
but it might be,
now
But
granted,
you might
yes,
have to have the
I don't know
equipment
anything
to-
about motorcycles, but do
So-
they have catalytics on motorcycles?
I'm
They're
not
not
familiar
motorcycles.
either.
so Mr. Picaro, what I could say about fumes is as part of the special permit, dust, odor, fumes are part of that, but there are certain things that are not measurable right now.
Right.
We can't measure fumes right now, cause there's
Yeah.
nothing in there. That's something where if it becomes an issue,
I see,
it
all
would
right,
have to be
yeah, after
addressed.
the fact.
Yeah,
If I may, Mrs. Picaro, if you go on the website and look up the meeting minutes from the April 9th, I think it was, the April 9th hearing, I remember that question being asked and Mr. Latour answered it. So it should be in the meeting minutes for April 9th
9th.
on the website, okay, so that might help.
yep, thank you.
It was also filmed, if you wanted to look at.
yeah.
Watch it too.
Yeah, there's a YouTube, if you go to YouTube on the web,
Yeah, if, on our website, if you go to the cable department page, there's a link to our YouTube page on Rutland Community Television, and you just search planning board with the date. That's all right, we're here to help.
which also, you know, all of our zoning regulations are online as well. And, wouldn't be a bad idea to
Take a look at it.
read over the village center district and, you know, see just what is in there.
How far back does it go?
Village center,
I mean, would it go up to the point where you guys approved the Fox Run townhouses?
It was
What was
there,
allowed
it was
then?
there then.
yeah, I think it was.
Near,
it was-
near a commercial piece of property?
I think it was there then,
It was.
Would it go that far?
yeah.
Okay.
And Village Center is a zoning concept,
And the village center district
So-
was established not many years ago.
yeah.
It's fairly
So
recent.
it's a hope for the town to achieve.
I'm pretty sure those condos
We'd love to
predate.
have you on board,
the
it's
Village
just
Center
working out what happens and
No.
you got a nice
I don't think
big
so.
cleared out area too, so actually you've
Rooster
got,
came in after the village
Big-
center
you
was
got the
done.
biggest space in that area at the moment.
Well,
too, so, yeah.
then the car lot, you guys just approved up the road, I believe
Right.
next to Mr. McLaughlin here.
Yeah,
It might be, it's his actually.
Oh, the used car the used car lot is yours?
Yes. What would you like to know?
Or just for
well,
reference, but
it's
yeah.
not, it's not part of the hearing.
No, it's not part of this hearing.
Yeah, I can't go into details of.
And by the way, previous approvals are not precedent setting. This is a new special permit, so anything, we appreciate the sentiment, but what happened with Mr. McLaughlin's property, what happened with Fox Runs, has nothing to do with your property within this hearing.
Clean slate, I guess.
Yeah. You said for this, you look at it as rent. Okay.
So, let me see, do we have anyone else from the public or online that wishes?
Leah, you got any questions? Newly elected, select board
Re-elected.
person?
Elected.
Re-elected, that's what I want to say.
It's Leah. I don't have Leah Whiteman, 208 East County Road. This is solely as a resident. I just was wondering about and I think you guys are struggling with this, the commercial industrial piece versus how that fits in with the village center zoning, because it seems like it's a little bit more on the industrial side of things, but I haven't been following it that closely. You guys already touched on it, so that's my only question, comment.
Okay, thank you.
2008 is when the village center was established, May 2008.
When did Fox Run go in?
2015.
Okay.
We were the first resident.
And the thing is, when you have non-residential next to residential, it is part of the board's responsibility to protect the residential from the commercial. So when you say, oh, you put a residential next to a commercial, no, it's the other way around. When a commercial business comes in, we need to mitigate the commercial to protect the residential.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would make a motion for a continuance of this hearing. Unless there's any, maybe,
What date?
Do we want?
I would recommend the first meeting in June because we're gonna need some time. I'm gonna get this list together as soon as I can in the next day or two.
Yeah.
But, I think
June 11th.
yes, June, I would recommend June 11th.
I won't be here. I'll be on vacation.
Well, if you wanna do the 28th, I mean, we require stuff a week ahead of time, so that only gives them a
That would
week
be
to
my
turn
only,
around.
that'd be my first missed meeting from this, so I could still be
Yes, you could,
legitimate
the Mullen
and
rule,
do
yeah.
the review with Anita and fill the paperwork out,
Yep.
so.
Can we
I
just
don't have
make
a
sure Britton could come that night?
What's that?
Maybe if we just make sure Britton
Yeah.
can come
Yeah.
that night?
I just wanna make sure there's 4 people.
Do you wanna do a site walk with us there, or do you feel, does it matter, or should we continue?
I
know-
apologize for my misunderstanding of the event. I wouldn't have made the 6 o'clock anyway, so
I
I had a
think,
family thing.
you know, another sidewalk may be appropriate, but not until
List
John
is given,
gets the
yeah.
list and there's a response
Yeah,
from the list.
yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
So it seems like the board is, has the board come to a consensus on the
June
additional
11th
building
is good
use?
for the board, I can view it. I'm not doing it on vacation, I can tell
What's
you
that?
that.
No, but the big question is that new building and the use of repairing vehicles on that scale.
I would say it's up to the applicant, and that if that second building is going to be a part of it, it's very, very likely gonna be a tough row.
Yes, I could buy into that.
Because with a special permit, that you need 4 out of 5 yeses. It's a supermajority.
If he can rent another location in town that is appropriate for that, he could possibly do that and own 2 businesses in town. But it may not be, it's possible it may not work out right on this, on your lot, you know, in particular. Are there things maybe that you can, you know, is there more than one use you could do on that building that just conforms to a village center? It's quite possible if you bring another idea to the board, you know, to expand what you do there, but just to consider, we do have light industrial in other parts of the town. So
Correct.
if he wants to build a building and rent, I apologize to send him somewhere else, you know, but it's possible he could do it in another location in town. There are things that could come down the pipeline too, that might work.
The town
Just to let him know,
approved
so it's not
another
like a.
section of
Yeah,
industrial on
If it seems
Intervale.
like a push out, it's not always, you know, or there could be other options, it's just kind of figuring out what's feasible.
Well, you're also
In
saying,
Rutland.
like, if we invested more on the renderings of this building, and you guys could see it, and how it would completely look all, like you said, buttoned up.
Yeah, and even I think the property is more of what they're wondering if, for buttoning up, I apologize to where and how. But I think that concept of like, I guess if he's doing car repair, that's different
But
than
it's,
saying.
again, it's the two aspects, it's not just the physical building, it's the use itself.
Yeah, the
Leah made the
concept.
comment in her comments, are we starting to border into light industrial use with the repair of trucks that size, with the hydraulics and the diesel engines and things
I
like
guess
that?
through the chair, I'm gonna be point blank. The whole diesel truck, large capacity vehicle outside of passenger, I'm not comfortable with. I'll just come out and say it right on the record. I'm not comfortable with that building doing that.
Okay.
That's, I'll say that.
Either building or just the?
No,
new-
just-
No, just the back
the new
building, no, the front building for the motorcycles, I just think we need to get the site squared away, but what you've given me for the, or what I've looked over for the building, what you're planning to do, I'm all for that business happening.
Okay.
It's just the site right now for that building, what you give us for the rendering for that area.
Sure.
Looks good,
Yep.
but there's a whole bunch of the rest of the site that needs a lot of work.
Okay.
And that's where John's gotta get that bullet points down to let you know what we're gonna talk about. But I'm just,
Sure.
I personally am not comfortable with that back building in its intended use.
Sure.
That's it. I'll say that and let the rest of the board talk.
Okay, I have a motion to continue.
To continue to June 11th at
6:30.
6:30, thanks.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you, Phil.
Norm, if you wanna skip over item 6 tonight, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John will keep in contact with you
Yeah,
and
of
stuff
course.
like that. Okay,
Appreciate it, John, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else on the docket I should stay for?
No.
That's it.
Nothing
No,
related, no.
it's subdivisions unless you're looking to become a developer.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, item 6.
Yeah, let's skip
Yeah.
over that tonight.
I looked
That
at
one
it.
was pretty straightforward though.
I would think.
Well, you said we can't really, it was
It's,
about
I'm just,
acceptance
we're just, I just
versus,
want it for
yeah.
accuracy right now. We're not making any changes to the content, just making sure it's accurate to what is currently in the bylaws.
Alright, what's the next one?
Correspondence,
Yeah,
anyone have any comments on the emails from, that went back and forth between Clea and, Kevin?
which I'm trying to, I saw everything that went out and Clea said he was going to get somebody, but Kevin. But when I looked over Kevin Quinn's report, it doesn't, maybe I'm not reading this. I don't see yes, I saw them cleaning up the, Brice Lemon. I don't see any feedback on Brice Lemon on, Clea said, yep, I'm gonna do it. Sent this to John, but I don't see any report back from Kevin saying, yeah, it happened. Am I missing something?
Is there a cleanup thing you're in specific that you're talking about?
It's the first email in our packet that, John sent Clea a letter saying that there's comments below from Quinn Engineering on the.
So you want verification that he's actually.
Oh, yeah,
from
I
Kevin,
wanna
that
make
he's
sure that
actually
it's
doing
been
this.
done.
Okay,
Because I haven't, and I apologize, I haven't had a chance to drive it,
that's okay.
but I thought I'd like to see something saying, Kevin's been out there and yep, that work's been done. Cause I don't,
So confirmation from Quinn.
yes, please.
wait a minute.
Am I missing something?
No, I'm just a little confused on these.
Tim, which one was that, Brintnal or Brice?
Brice Lemon's the
Brice
first
Lemon.
one,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, John sent Clea, which is the 417. Clea responded on 418 that to bring you guys up to speed, I hired a company to raise all the structures and Pioneer will start this week, but hopefully at least next week we'll get there.
Well, I'll ask Quinn for an
Pioneer
update.
Circle up above.
Pioneer Circle
further.
That's the one coming off 122A, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that must be that.
Yeah, that's the one that I took the pictures and sent it to John and said, listen, the sides are, the structure, and then Kevin goes, he's right. And then Clee sent this email back saying, I'm gonna take care of it, but there's no confirmation that's been done.
It has not, I was up there a couple of days ago.
Nothing's been done?
No.
Thanks, Dick. You confirmed what I did not know.
Okay, so it hasn't been completed yet.
Yeah, that's,
I don't
yeah.
understand that second paragraph at all. So Browns had moved in a couple of weeks ago to finish the detention facility. That's the big detention pond.
Yeah, that's the one that, when you come in the entrance, it's on the right,
It hasn't
down
been,
there. I
Down
saw
the
them working
hall.
on it.
Right.
When I was there,
Oh, on Main Street?
Yeah, off of Main Street.
off of Main Street.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
it's not in use.
Okay, they were doing some stuff there today even.
Yeah, I saw the excavators over there. This was 3-4 weeks ago they were working, so.
Yeah, they're still there working.
Okay.
I know, I don't mean to sidetrack, I know on Lindsay Circle,
Yeah.
there's a resident that has been mentioning that there's materials still there, leftover giant truck tires, that he's hoping Clee will remove but haven't been removed, and corrugated metal,
Cause that detention pond's not finished,
that's
that has to
something-
be
that's
tied
a
in before. That's-
totally different area.
No, but that's in Brice Lemon.
It is, it's, yeah,
Lindsay Circle is that new cul-de-sac that he's working on right now.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, there's some junk there.
yeah, the residents are concerned might stay there, they're not sure.
Well, it has to be
They still got
accepted
a
by
lot
the
of-
town,
lot of
and
work
that
to
won't
do on
happen
that.
until
Oh,
that's
yeah.
cleaned up.
But he's got 2 houses up and 2 foundations there now.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, what we always tell residents is, you move into an active subdivision, it's an active construction site. I've had people complain in subdivisions in Rainham and other towns where, well, they have a right of way and there's a pile of dirt there. Oh, yeah, it's an active subdivision, and sometimes it's active for several years, so, you know.
The answer could be, if you talk to them, we typically, when we do the acceptance, Quinn Engineering goes out there and goes through with a fine tooth comb,
Yeah.
and that stuff won't be there when the fine tooth
Right.
comb goes through.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
will be removed before the town will get them.
It's in an open space location, so it's not,
It could be-
it's
it
sort
could-
of tucked away, I guess
Yeah,
is the
well,
resident
it could be
says.
one of the open properties where he's storing some things
Yeah, I
during
guess
construction.
you could call it, yeah, so, I mean, eventually someone would like it out of there,
But
so.
it was fun to see the dirty water running down the road, right into the catch basin, and I says, I wonder where the heck that's heading for.
jeez.
Well, wait a minute.
Okay, so Tim, you got the answer on that?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay,
Just, Kevin will get back to us. He's good about that.
yep.
But
I can send him an email tomorrow asking. him
even
to
though Dick
follow up
confirmed it,
on
I just like something in writing so our
Okay.
files have that.
I will
I
reach
mean, I
out
know
to
our
him
meeting
tomorrow.
minutes are files, but I just like Kevin to give us an official report.
Okay, they are definitely working on phase 2 of, Brintnal Estates, found out over there this morning, and, they're definitely putting in utilities.
Yes.
Been no action at all on Hilltop.
I gotta reach out to town council, we still have not got an answer on that HOA document.
Yeah.
That, yeah. The only thing, Norm, that I see Kevin sent this email to John on April 22nd about Brintnal Estates. I don't see anything back from Clea on the timeline of when we're gonna get those guardrails and those,
No,
and I really need that.
Is
I
that for
mean,
Brintnall?
Yeah,
Okay.
I really need that
Because you need a
finalized,
timeline on that
'cause-
second email.
That up last time.
Yeah, we've got this summer, summer's the time to do it, so when we get to fall and winter, it's there.
Okay,
at least the next row of blocks that have to go on top.
Yeah.
so what's the timeline for that second email?
Yeah,
I would
enough to
like it
keep a
finished this
car
summer.
inside.
I don't know what the board says, but my personal opinion is I want I'm gonna ask for everything and we'll see what he comes back
Okay.
with. Get everything cleaned up on those 2 crossings.
Okay.
Get the engineering and the guardrails finished. And then, I'd like to see it done this summer before we get to the fall.
Yeah.
Cause then we're trying to rush everything in and honestly, we should, since that's an engineered structure, we should be getting an engineering report when that's being built. Because if I remember that, those structures were supposed to have updated engineering reports every time it's worked on. Actually, the structure engineer's supposed to be there to review it, but I'll take a report. I'm fine with that. We haven't seen any of those lately.
Progress report.
Yeah, it's a progress report because literally it's his stamp and his expertise. It's supposed to be going over that crossing.
Do you want a progress report on that?
I would love to see that, and also.
Is that Brintnal?
Brintnal.
Yeah.
A progress report and if you wanna call it timeline status and when that's gonna get done, with a period saying summer of 2024 would be appropriate.
Okay.
Alright, good enough.
See, all of the other wetland crossings, like in Rice Lemon, not only is there the wall and a guardrail, but there's also a fence. I'm wondering if the plans here call for a fence as well.
But didn't they have the fence because there was a walkway? On the one side, cause I don't think that other, maybe I'm wrong.
Was there a fence on both sides? I don't think so.
I
think it was
gotta
just
drive it
one.
now, cause I
Yeah.
can't remember. I thought it was just on one side where the
Yeah, I think
walkway
it
was.
is.
It could be. Well, there's gotta be sidewalks on Brintnal Estates.
Yeah, but none over the crossings, is there? Cause the crossings basically are.
I thought Kevin had something in that last email about it.
I didn't, I thought where the crossings were, Norm, it was basically, if there's gonna be sidewalks, they'll end at the crossing, you have to go over
Regarding
the road.
Brintnal, the site contractor informed me that he will be working on sidewalks, et cetera, on Grizzly. Is that what you're talking about, Tamika?
Yeah.
I spoke to him about the section of road which lacks guardrail. He said he will speak to Clee and see if they can just install the permanent guardrail. That's the best remedy, but I told him if that does not take place, I'll need to see something temporary like Jersey barriers. I think it's a hazard and the road is open to the public.
Yeah, he can't put the guardrail up until he finishes the freaking blocks. So, but that's, to me, that's a good question, is like, I don't think there was, I'd have to look at the drawings again, but I don't think there was designed to have a walkway across those crossings. It went up to the crossings, but not over the crossings.
Wow.
Maybe I'm wrong, because how would you do that? The blocks are there. You'd have to build something off the side of the blocks. I don't think that was
It should have
ever,
been wide enough to
Accommodate.
a walkway.
if you look at those blocks, I think they're right up against against the road. I'll take a look, I'll do a drive, but I'm almost positive that those blocks are equal with the, if you wanna call it the edge of the road.
Kinda think you're right.
I don't think I got any pictures.
Why don't we just ask
Kevin?
John to ask Kevin?
Yeah,
About
Sidewalks
sidewalks on the crossings?
on the
Yeah.
crossings
And fence,
and fence.
I know I got it.
which is gonna be a fence, that should be shown on the plans.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I had a question, but it's not related to these three, but it is a correspondence thing, and we've had subdivisions in here. Do we, or is RDIC the only place that gets reports on Harmony Place?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Steps
yeah,
and
that's their
Stones?
project.
Okay.
Gets us-
That doesn't cross the planning boards.
Okay.
But Mike usually.
Which, yeah, well, that really kinda gets me, cause Mike was in Florida, but isn't he back by now?
Yeah, he's back.
How come we haven't had a meeting?
I don't know.
Oh, I think I'll text somebody tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
You betcha.
Don't get him wound up.
Yes, I am gonna get him
He
wound
already
up.
wound me up because I didn't get a certain young lady some minutes, so I don't want him wound up anymore.
God.
Was late on that.
Keith said he's gonna get the minutes for the.
He already did.
Oh, look at that.
Bing, bang, boom. he
I didn't
did it.
CC you though, that's.
No, you don't
myself
have to.
that.
That's okay. No, you don't have to.
Just send everything you.
It's fine, no.
So. Okay,
What's
guess,
this last one? Brintnal and Duncan. And Duncan.
Oh, I think those are outdated now. I think we've,
Yeah.
yeah,
we've already addressed them.
Yep, okay. All right.
okay. Town planner report.
So, it came to my attention that at the meeting that I missed because of vacation, the board had a discussion on citizens petition articles. And I understand that the board, was concerned about citizen petition articles and was discussing the possibility of adopting a policy not to take a position on citizen petition articles. As the planner, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that the planning board should consider citizens petition articles, but it doesn't mean that the planning board has to support all citizens petition articles. The board has the right, again, 3 options: favorable action, unfavorable action. If the board wants to punt and not take a stand on a particular citizen's petition for whatever reason, that's the board's choice. But I think when Tim talks about consistency, it doesn't mean the board has to take the same action on every single citizen's petition that it reviews. However, I do think the board should review these, and in the case where there was a discussion about the first rezoning, Mr. Elbag's rezoning, and there was some second thoughts about that, what I would recommend is that the board, when you have a public hearing on a citizen's petition article, do not take a vote on that article the same night as the public hearing. Continue it to the next meeting and take a couple weeks to think about it.
Yeah.
Because I always try and schedule these with at least one meeting before town meeting. And that way it gives the board, it gives members a chance to think about what's before it and give it some thought before you take a vote. So I would recommend that as a common practice going forward. Absolutely, I think the board, and Norm and I spoke about this and Tim and I spoke about this. I think it is important for the board to review citizen petition articles and take potential action on them. However, I think maybe that's a good solution, is not to act on it on the same night as the public hearing. Take in the information, hear what the applicant has to say, hear what the public has to say, and then continue it to the next meeting and then take action. So
I have to pretty much, agree with that, but going even a little bit further, to be perfectly honest with you, I think it's our duty to review, and other than in, I'll say, very rare exceptions, either give a favorable or an unfavorable recommendation. I think it should be very rare for us to punt and not.
Say no action.
Leave it blank, yeah.
absolutely, yeah, I agree with Norm.
That's.
It's an option, but it should be a very rare option.
I've rethought my comments at the last planning board meeting. I think it's a case-by-case basis.
Absolutely.
Oh, it is.
Well, I wasn't, I was on the other side of the fence where it should be, like the FICOM says, on citizens petitions, we take no action because it's not a town, it's not a town warrant article.
Yeah.
So I think from the planning board's perspective, I agree with you, Norm. We gotta look at it as a case-by-case and give an opinion.
Right,
Because
because
that's
later
our
on,
duties.
during a business meeting, you might pull from that a new bylaw.
Yeah.
Now, one area where I'm gonna step up is when we get a citizen's petition article like we did at this last town meeting, I will work with the citizen to make them aware that when it comes to town meeting, it's their responsibility to get up and defend
Sell it.
I was sitting next to Mark Elbag when his Maple Ave rezoning came up, and I was telling him, Mark, you need to get up there. You need to get up there, and he wasn't, and that was a little bit frustrating because it's not the board's responsibility to answer questions on the citizen's petition necessarily. I can answer certain questions as far as general, but it's that citizen's responsibility to provide backup materials, in this case, maps, and to explain their article and answer questions on their article. So I will do a better job of preparing or explaining to whatever citizen comes forward what their duties are when it comes to town meeting.
Mr. Blair found that out by not showing up to a town meeting when he had a road that was supposed to be accepted, and it got shot down.
Because
he wasn't there to defend anything or make any comments.
Yeah.
He said he won't make that mistake again.
Right.
Mark did not do himself any favors at town meeting,
So-
even when he did get up.
Right, so,
I understand from,
You know.
And you can see it sometimes, but yeah, we
So,
hold a public hearing.
yep.
And it seems like there is two ways, either it's public for a public purpose, but when it goes to town meeting, people really, they do vote, and they have an answer to what they
I wanna
see,
commend the
you know?
board, I wasn't there, but that second citizens petition, you guys did the right thing. It should have been blessed by the planning board, because it was blessed by the board and the town 32 years ago.
yes, that was a good
So
decision.
yes, that was an excellent decision.
And I felt so bad because of the young lady was here.
Yeah, I was not in my best form back then, cause after thinking about it, I'm like, listen, doesn't matter if it was a Sally mistake, a state mistake, it was a mistake, and she was wronged, and that should have been rectified,
Right.
so.
And the town felt comfortable, or the townspeople as they voted, felt comfortable with your explanation of what happened.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
zone, that, yes,
very
we
good
have had
job.
zoning that has changed, but the zoning for that zoning and that property has not changed since 1992. That has
Yeah.
been consistent, so I felt comfortable with that, cause when I look back at the paperwork that Anita provided from 1992, it's the same zoning district. It was just, like, to Tim's point, something happened.
Yeah.
Something happened where it wasn't ratified by the Attorney General's office, and so, and I actually think it brings together those three properties and makes it contiguous,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is, which is the goal.
No, that's perfect.
Which, to your point, when you told that gentleman, go to an industrial, there it is right there.
Lot right there.
Yeah,
It's got a building that's vacant also.
yeah, the Kappa building,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Start a
Yeah, if he
business
goes
right
into a
there.
light industrial area, he can do everything he wants.
Yeah.
yep.
Without this, without the
Yeah,
level of
without the
scrutiny or
potential,
the.
yeah.
Okay,
Alrighty.
well, let's see.
So I have one more thing, Norm, if I could, under item 9.
Yep.
I've been communicating with CMRPC regarding not just the master plan, but also the open space and recreation plan. And I had a request from CMRPC that I would like to request to the board. The planning board has 24 hours of technical assistance hours from CMRPC that's been accumulated, but is going to go unused because it expires at the end of June, at the end of the fiscal year. Therefore, CMRPC is politely requesting that the board offer to allow them to use its 24 hours of technical assistance time to review and comment on the draft open space and recreation plan. Because as of July 1st, the board gets 12 other hours and then accumulates another 12 hours over the course of a year. So with the board's blessing, if the board would be willing to take a vote to allow me to communicate to Trish that the board authorizes the use of the 24 hours for that purpose, I will do so.
I don't have any problem.
With one stipulation, Trish has to talk to Tamika about putting in another sign, a town sign down on 122 and 122A with the kiosks down there.
Could you,
I love doing that.
John, to add to that, to not Trish, but to Janet, I know the select board hasn't reorganized the chairman, but she needs to get an email to them, letting them know that there's a second full-time
delegate?
Delegate, yeah, and I wanna
Okay.
apply for that, I want it to be official before I put that application.
That the town needs to fill?
Yeah, cause right now I'm an alternate, and I'd like to move from alternate
Oh, okay,
to,
I'm sorry, I was
to
confused.
full-time.
Okay, and then does that
Because we have enough populace to warrant a second delegate.
so then it would be, Dick would be
No,
appointed by the planning board, would you then be appointed by the planning board as well, cause you'd be a full
I think
member?
it's a second full-time to the select board, if I'm
So
not,
3 delegates, so really the town would have 3 delegates.
yeah, it'd be
Okay,
3
and
delegates.
then the
so I
alternate
thought it
would
was
be
the
vacant.
third for selectmen.
Yes, cause right now the select board, I think, has a primary and an alternate. And
Correct.
I've always been the
You've
alternate,
been the alternate.
yes, and I'd like to move up, I'd like to get promoted.
Well, I have
And
this.
Mr. Williams is looking for a step in, I think.
I was going to, at the end of this meeting, ask Keith to take my place
Oh, wow.
at Central Mass Regional Planning. I'm all done down there, I've bowed out. I've had my,
I need your parking pass then.
luckily enough, you don't need it
Priorities.
at MassDOT, you don't need it. But I'm involved with the transportation
Okay.
division down there, and to me, I feel that would be a prime spot for you for that. And if you wanna get also onto the executive committee, or unless Tim wants to take that spot,
No, not at this point.
but if you wanna,
Leadership and I don't go well together.
and maybe to have a talk with Janet,
Yep.
that
Okay.
you're gonna do that.
Her and Trish are great people.
Thank you, yeah, yeah, with some prep of what it's like, yeah, I could definitely,
For the length of time that you've been on this board, I feel that you are excellent and.
oh, thank you.
Yay,
Here,
Keith.
here.
Okay, so I'm on, I guess.
Pressure, boy, no pressure, Keith.
No pressure.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, yeah, I mean, you have enough Rutland in you for crying out loud, you can also tell them down there. You're not gonna step on me for crying out loud.
Yeah, don't forget about Rutland.
Yeah.
Are you saying Keith's going in there to kick some butt?
Yes.
This is our Padawan, and the master's gonna make sure he's taken care of.
All right.
Tim, I'm doing the reappointment list of everything for June. Can you send me an email just expressing your interest in
I will
moving from
find-
alternate to full-time? Okay,
Yep,
perfect.
I can do that.
Yep, and then I'll get you on the list.
Is there a hazing that goes along with that?
Yeah, but we can't talk about that, I'm
okay.
afraid.
The hazing is, will you guys provide food again, cause them sandwiches were good. The one thing I just thought about, Norm, with this, we and the next meeting, I know we can't do it this meeting, but we gotta put a reorganization
Yes.
on the agenda.
Oh, that's right.
So,
do that.
so before we move on, would the board be willing to take a vote to, donate those 24 hours from this past year to?
I'm gonna need some, I gotta, Austin's gotta give us something. Sorry,
I have Jolly Ranchers.
I'm looking for cash.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with that, I think we should,
I think we should, so moved.
Great.
yeah.
And that'll help the
Second.
master plan process.
Okay.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. I will send Trish an email and I will CC Norm on that. So, he's in the loop that, that's been authorized. Thank you.
One other thing is just thinking of the CMRPC annual meeting.
It's in June.
Yes.
It has already been posted.
It's been, yeah, hopefully you guys are gonna be going to it, it's at Wachusett Mountain,
Yep.
so everything
Oh, it's
sounds
easy
like
for us.
an excellent thing, but I
think I'm planning on going and I think
I don't wanna get, I don't wanna get weepy here, I cannot go.
Okay.
And,
Dick, you're the life of the party.
Are you
No.
busy?
Just give us your credit card, we'll be fine.
it goes back a few
It has been customary for
years
the
to
town
my
planner
brother,
to make
I said, I'll never
reservations
come back
for
to this place
whoever.
ever again, because.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
planning
Yeah.
board.
So who for the planning, what, should I send out an email
Day
requesting interest?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that tomorrow.
That, did we get, Dick, did
Sorry about
CMRPC
that.
send that out?
Yep.
I didn't see, Janet doesn't love me anymore.
Last year?
Yes,
Yeah, I thought so.
that was so nice down there,
Which zoo?
the zoo,
Oh, yeah.
That's an awesome zoo, isn't it?
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
and
it was
the
cool.
sky ride.
Yep.
And looking down, the last thing I looked down at is an alligator.
Yeah, they had alligators.
Oh my gosh.
Mount Wachusett, we can go up to the chairlift.
Up to the
Yes.
top.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah, that's
yep.
fun.
Spin
Yeah.
around and go down, yep.
Hopefully I'll get good
Excellent.
weather.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there anything else to come before the board?
Thank you all
Here, so.
for voting.
Congratulations, Dick, and congratulations, Brittany.
Yes,
All right.
Yep, congratulations. How many did you get? Did you get?
This morning, I have not seen the,
you got 30 from Naquag, I know that much.
It's a landslide write-in vote.
it was hundred and twenty-one that was on the computer this morning when I took a look at
That's
it.
a lot.
Wow.
So,
And I found out from my, my nephew, there were certain people that were on Facebook, I guess. I'm not on Facebook. And I want to thank her for it. Thank you, Leah. And I'll do the best I can to be behind you 100%. So,
oh, that's
it
true.
was worth.
Thank you.
I'll accept a motion.
Motion to.
Adjourn.
Yeah, congratulations, Leah.
Yes, congrats. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
This was-